Okay, so hello everyone. So you are actually students coming from all different courses I'm teaching on this semester. First of all, I think you should be proud of yourself. At least you are a motivated person. Okay, in the past, I tried to do some similar things. I realized when people have no motivation, you're just wasting your time. And they feel the pain from all the push over there. It's just like, I don't want to train my muscle. Why need me sweating for 2 hours? So that's the things they want to have. So for this project, it's just a complementary. It's just, I feel like when I do everything watered down, but still there's some motivated students. They really want to find high salary job. They are more like into this kind of area. So that's the purpose for that. So the goal here, first, I just say landing you the coding job. It's not another job, okay? If it's a doctor, it's a lawyer, you should find another class. I not prepare you for that. And then the salary expectation is between like 100 to 200. If it's beyond that, probably it's beyond the scope what the class can do. And that's the thing you probably need seeking for the other kind of help. So that's one thing I would say ahead of time, say what's no needed. You don't really need to have like a 6 or 8 hour hard working every day. Okay. So it's not really required that to really land you a job like this. And you don't need to be smart. Say you have the IQ test like on the top 10 or 5. It doesn't matter, okay? As long as you're a normal person, this goal is really achievable. But I do have some needed requirements. So first, there is no cognitive disorder. That means if you have the Down syndrome, there's some like a cognitive disease. Probably I don't think I'm capable of bringing that kind of person to the level to have the job, okay? And when you're doing that, you really need to make up your mind. You are doing the planning for decades. I'm not talking about days. I'm not talking about months or years. Exactly. That means that's the things you really devote. Think that's kind of career I want to go into. I have been planning for that. Then otherwise, you can see the technical world, although they are very highly paid, comparing you go to the medical school or you go to the law facing the competition, probably that's the most cost effective kind of career to earn that kind of high salary. But they have the downside. You need to keep learning because the technology will change really fast. It's like nowadays, ChatGPT come up, and all of a sudden, a lot of people need to integrate their components to really how to have the ChatGPT into your platform. Okay, so those type of things are new, never have before. If you don't have mind of preparation for, I need to continuously update my knowledge. That's not the thing you want. Well, you should quit now. Because there's no easy job. Every highly paid job have their downside. Okay, that's a part of the things. And then I also need you to have the capability to tolerate some level of depression. I don't want you to like depressed to have some disease. It's not that kind of level, but you do need to be able to tolerate some negative feeling like I fail. And it's not working through, but I will continue to do that. Okay, so analogy to that is I'm not training you to have a muscle like this way. Okay, that's not the goal I cannot achieve, but I just training you over there. Spend 1 or 2 hours each day, but you still can have the weekend, or you can have the vacation. When you wake up, but you still will continue to do that. Okay, so still in the daily base, on average, you will have like 1 hour spending on this. And then when you're doing this exercise, and you need to have the tolerance, it's sweating, breathing hard, that's all uncomfortable feeling when you do that. So when you do coding, a type of thing, you will have some like cognitive training on your brain. Your brain will have some feeling, like I cannot, you need to have the mindset to continue with that. Okay, it's just like your muscle. So there's no easy way. It's not like you just go outside of the campus, have like a casual walk. Train you have the body muscle like this one. I'm not capable of doing that in that way. Okay, so you do really have some pressure on your muscle over there. And the same, when you do the training, you need to have some pressure on your mindset to make your like a brain muscle more like a strong, to be more resilient. And in this class, I will touch a lot of untrained here in the normal lecture. So to tell you the difference between doing here and doing the lecture-based learning, that's the two kind of things you're going to see. In the lecture-based learning, it's like the teacher feeds you with a spoon, nice and clean. It's easy for you to have. Just lay down there, open your mouth, and you just eat the food. But for project learning, you need to grab your own spoon. Okay? You will make messy, all things all over the place. But eventually, you will grow up as an independent person. You can feed yourself. You don't need anyone's help. If you continue to learn like this way, no matter how old you are, just giant baby, but it's still a baby. Okay? So in that way, this baby cannot really learn by them, survive by themselves alone. But for this kind of case, they're self-dependent. Okay? And they can facing the challenge in the outside world. So all these things like self-regulated learning, time management, and resiliency, that's all the things will be touched. So how are we going to continue? So that's something I got up here. So to understand also the training methods here and how this is going to be different from the training methods we talk in the class. First, knowledge is a tree structure. I guess I mentioned in all the like introduction. You have to learn how to count before you can use add and minus. You need to understand plus minus before you can learn times and divide. Only when you learn times divide and the variable, then you will understand what's called the function. There is no way you can directly jump into to teach a newborn baby, say what's the function would be. That's impossible, okay? If that kids don't even know how to count, there's no way you can teach any level up. So when we try to learn something, so over here, each number here, it just represents a knowledge point. It doesn't matter which one, it's just telling you if that's a tree structure here. I use the P1, P2, P3, that's the preliminary knowledge you already know. That's the thing I call the green one, okay? So suppose the green one is the things you already know. And then the black one is the one you don't really know. And then for the lecture-based learning, what are you going to do? So let's say if I really want to know the knowledge for here, okay, that's my goal, want to do. So in the lecture-based learning, what the procedure would be, I will teach you the K1 based on P1 and P2. It doesn't matter what's P1 and what's P2. It's just a tree over there. Because I'm teaching you the new things based on something you already know, then you are able to achieve it, okay? Then when I have the impact on the P1, and then you start to learn okay, K1, and then the K1 gonna turn into green. So according to, let's say I give you the first lecture, you start to learn the K1. Okay, then I start to teach you a second lecture. They're focusing on the K2, but it's based on K1 and P3. Since K1 you already learned, and P3 is already you learned before, then you're still capable of learning that, then you start to learn like as a K2. And then the procedure continue, you learn K3, you know that, and then I teach you K4 based on K2 and K3, since you already know at that moment. So that's a process for the lecture-based learning. You eventually learn from the bottom all the way to the top for the tree. But the lecture-based learning have some problems. So first, I assume some prerequisite for the entire population, but apparently someone maybe you need, okay? Maybe they come up here, they don't really know P1. Majority of the students will know P1, that's how I'm gonna teach. But maybe there are some students, they don't know P1. When I teach that, there's no way I can success, okay? Because they don't even know the bottom. There's no way you can build anything on the set, okay? So that's the one thing. There's no way I can give you any personalized like a teaching things. Another one is very passive, boring, okay? And some important skill actually not neutralized when you have the job. So how is going to be the problem-based learning? For the problem-based learning is or the project-based learning. I just say, okay, I want you to achieve K4. Okay, that's what I'm gonna telling you what you're gonna do. But I'm not telling you anything else. Then how can you learn the K4? You actually need to have this tree structure. Then you will look at the tree structure. Then you will see, okay, I probably need to start from here to figure out the K1 first. And then based on K1 and K3, figure out the K2 first. And then figure out the K3. And then eventually I will know the K4. So that's the things I need to do. But the problem is when I do the lecture-based learning, the tree and the process, how to go through the tree is laid down by the process they're teaching you, giving you the lecture. But for the project-based learning, nobody telling you what the tree structure will be. They're not offering any material to you. So what do you usually do? You're gonna do is you will search Google or ChatGPT or no matter what it is. They have plenty of resources online. You say, I want to know how to do the K4. Okay. Then what's the problem you're gonna get? First, you'll get too advanced kind of material. They teach you K4 based on K2 and K3. You have no idea what K2 and K3 is. There's no way you can learn that from that material. Okay. And then there's some irrelevant material because when you search something, there's no guarantee you always find the things correct. So they teach you K9 based on K4 and K7. It's totally irrelevant. You're not interested in. Okay. And then, so that's all the different kinds of depression you're going to experience. Okay. Because you try to figure that out. It's more like you swim by your own. Okay. So, and then even worse, they have the wrong information based on the K3 and K5. Okay, because there's no guarantee the online information can be correct. When teacher preparing the material, they're doing the screening already for you. But when you do that, the screening part is really on yourself. Because no matter what kind of topic, you're always able to find some conflicting information. You need to figure out which one is going to be correct. So the rule of the thumb is, in this scenario, is relatively easy to do. You check enough of the information, but you still believe the correct information online should be the majority. Okay, so if most of the people talking about one thing in that way, that's more likely going to be correct. Although I'm not ruling out the possibility, some cases, the rare minority people is correct, but in most of the case, if a lot of people talking about things in that way, this way probably going to be the right. That's require you not just looking at one data source, you need to look at like 10 different data sources and figure out that's the most common way people gonna go, and you're gonna go with that route. Okay, so and then you can see the hardest part in the project-based learning is actually create this tree. This tree is not known to you, and this part already been taken care of by the lecture-based learning. So how are you going to do that? I just rule out irrelevant information, the wrong information, okay? Because when you're looking at detail, you will see this is irrelevant. Or you look at it now, you will see the majority, what's the majority would be. Let's say that's the majority of the document I can find online. That's the things they were teaching. I will start from here. But apparently, I still don't know what K2 and K3. I want to achieve K4. What should I do? So you really need to go with tables or tree and try to search K3, go through the same procedure. And you realize K3 is based on P4, you already know. Say, okay, I end up searching over here because I know this branch already, so it's fine. But still, this knowledge point, I still don't know. I need to continue to search over there. They say it's based on the K2 is based on K1 and P3. So, but K1 I still don't know. Then I need to continue the search for the K1. And the K1 is based on P1 and P2. Then I say, oh, that's the things I know. Then I can close the search. Then I will pull all the things back twist it back. That's how I construct the tree. And that's how I'm gonna have the things I'm gonna have over there. Then I can continue with my learning. Okay. So as you can see, for the project-based learning, it takes way a lot more effort than you do the lecture-based learning, because lecture-based learning, the teacher already prepared a lot of material over there. And now you are doing part of the professor's job. You start to teach yourself. Okay. So that's why I just say it's kind of challenge. Okay. There's no easy to really achieve that. But I just say this is very common for your daily life. As long as you find the job, no matter what it is, they probably ask you to do something you don't really know. And no one's going to teach you. You need to figure out. And that's a very important skill for you to survive, not just for the coding job. I just say, no matter what kind of job, unless your job is just doing something very repeated. But I just say with the AI here, anything you do it repeatedly, it's in very high risk of being replaced. Okay, or you're just doing some labor job. That's already low paid job. If you are satisfied with that, it's fine. But if you are shooting for the future, there's no way you can get around learning a skill like this. Okay. So that's just some comparison. Okay, just give you some idea. And the most important thing is over here, you will feel depressed. Okay, it's just like when you train your muscle, you feel exhausted, and it's some uncomfortable feeling on your muscle. But you need to hold yourself there and continue with that. That's the only way you can train the muscle, and that's the only way you can train the brain to be resilient, to shooting for the low type of information. As you can see, this is more similar to what we want. If you really care about for some job you want to get in the future, then project-based learning, that's almost no way to get around from. Okay, so now that's gonna be some starting point. Okay, so the general rule when I teach you try to do something, so here the first thing you can have, that's gonna be the last page. And then I would like you to search something like just my name, okay, then 0903. And you will see there's a GitHub for that. So that's gonna be the project I have laid down here and I'll just work with you all together. Okay, I will do some demo to say how I'm gonna try to do something I don't even know, and what's my process to do that. But you, when you see how I'm gonna do that, you need to go through the same procedure. Okay, and there is no way like I can do these things for you. It's just like a swing. You really need to have your muscle, that kind of memory, what you're going to do there. So when you have this GitHub for this account, when you click there, there are some like a public repository. So, and one is the finance. You can see I put it over there. I just say use to communicate of the student for the project. So that's a project I predefined. Apparently, you can working on the project you are interested in. You don't really need to work on this project. I just, because sometimes when I talking about the project, students have no idea what kind of project they want to do. So I just choosing a topic. I want to do it anyway. So why not I just doing it at the same time I train the student. So, but you have the freedom. Say that's a project I'm not interested in at all. You can look at the procedure how I'm going to do and start with your own project. Then you can ask me the question. I will just work together with you. Okay, so it's not a mandatory. So, but this one is a starting point. So when you click on here, and this project barely has anything started yet. It's just very brief. And here how the project go. They have the project step. It's a TXT file and a doc file. So I just start with one. Let's see what kind of things I want to achieve. Okay, so when I'm doing that, there are two websites. So if you go to this website, you will see all these stock trading company or even not stock trading company, they will submit their financial statement to the SEC. Okay. And then when I just copy and paste it over there. So these data sets has up to date because of the time process for the next year. What kind of, because right now, we have the 2019 compare 1, okay, compare 2, compare 3, and compare 4. Okay, that's all the financial statement data is in the zip file. So this web page, they have everything. And right now, we are in the beginning year of the 2003. So the latest file we're going to have is 2020 compare 4. But if 1 year later, I would expect you're going to have the 2023 compare 4 here. Okay, so as the time passes, we're going to accumulate more and more data and post it on the website. So that's what they have in the website. And then if you download any of the zip file, they have many different other kinds of TXT information talking about the financial data, and then talking about the company sale and whatever, because that's also important information when you make the decision. Although there are some other websites, they probably have some clean data for you, but you need to pay for that service. Okay, unless you really already into the financial and the professional area, otherwise this one is just to try to do some like practice. So you can start with the raw data. It's freely available. You can try to analyze this data to pass the information you really need. Just have the training on your own like a Python skill. So that's the one thing I'm gonna do. If you think about this skill, that's huge. Okay, you need to download the data. You need to look at the format, and then you understand what's the information inside. That's the entire financial world for you. You will see, okay, I'm not going to explode. I have no idea how deep this tree will be. Where should I start? I will talk about this later. But you can see, this is a real life project. Okay, that's a lot of things you need to do and sitting there. And then once you have that, the second thing is, because when you have this, each company, they are using a CIK. Company, they have a number to identify each company they can have. For example, Facebook, they call it Facebook before, but later on they changed the name to Meta. Okay, but it's the same company. And then no matter how you change your name, the CIK for that company is always the same. Okay, so this give you the idea it's the same company. No matter how they change the name, you have the same information. However, but when you try to get the financial information, why do you study the financial information? You just want to do the investment. You want to know which company would be more beneficial or potential for me to do the investment. Then eventually you need to really know the ticker because I'm trading in the stock market. So for Facebook, before it's FB, right now it's Meta. The ticker has been changed. So you really need to have all these kind of things go to pass this file, go over there, because this is like maintained by the US government stock trading of this. So for example, over there, if you're looking at the Apple here, that's the Apple company, their CIK number gonna doing that in this like, financial statement file. It's like a 320193. No matter how the Apple company will change the name in the future, okay? As long as you're not bankrupt, this CIK will be always go together with that company. And this is always have an updated data because the ticker here, if they want a company want to change, you can change. But the CIK is always go with that. And you need to have the matching because when you try to look at the financial statement, I don't want to know which related to the ticker I'm interested in. So that's the entire kind of things project, what are we gonna have? But as I gonna see, when you have your own project to start with, don't choose a topic. You can choose a very large topic, okay? But when you try to do a specific thing, don't try to go with a very deep tree over here. So for example, okay, that's the thing I want to try to achieve at the current moment. There's no way you can do that. I just say, even for me, spend 1 year, I don't know whether I can really achieve it at all. Okay, so what you should do, you need to use the idea of divide and conquer. That means you really need to break the large problem to a smaller one and try to do this one by one. Okay, and then when you try to do the software design, that's something later on I was talking about. You need to prepare at least for some foreseeable future. If you see something going to change, you probably need to achieve this function. So what does that mean? For example, that's the things, what's going to be the starting point I going to do. So since all these financial statement is over here, right? So the one thing you can do is I can manually download the data and then save in my hard drive, because all the information there, I start to analyze. Okay, but if you try to think about future, well, that's going to be all the data you're going to have for the future? Probably not, because 3 months later, you're going to have another new file coming in, right? So when you try to achieve your function over there, so the function you probably need to achieve is, how can I create an accuracy to automatically download all these things? Then in that way, no matter how the time goes by, I can always just download the data link in this web page. And how to analyze the data for the zip file and how to do this later on, I don't really need to consider about at the current moment. I just say for the future, I can see this data keep incrementing on that. So at least I need to the first function I need to achieve it. If I give this page, and then when I refresh the page, you're gonna have at that moment, I will be capable of downloading all the zip files from this web page and save in my hard drive. How to do the extraction, how to analyze data inside, that's totally something later on. Let's just focus on this. If you are not capable of doing that, then anything else is built on the information you get, right? So if you are not even getting your initial kind of raw data, there's no way you can talk about something else. So then when you try to think about, oh, that's all the financial world, all the other things I need to learn, at the current moment, the problem has been simplified. Just giving you this link. Whenever you log in, as long as they have this zip file, you just download all the zip file in your hard drive. That's how I want you to achieve. Okay, so that's gonna be the things you're gonna have. And I will not go any too much further you're gonna have. But I would like you to start some basic things you can get is you try to search either YouTube, Google, or chat, no matter what it is. Understand what is GitHub. What is GitHub doing for you? And then how can I connect it to the GitHub for this link I give to you for the project I'm gonna have over there? Because that's the financial. If you're looking at here, okay, and over there on the code over there, the pie chart, there is a way to have the connection with the GitHub, and you can register account and pass some code, and then start to create your own copy on your own account, and then move from that. Okay, what's magic about everyone using GitHub? When I learn Python, I don't really even doing that, right? So give some idea. That's the thing I prefer not teaching, because that's starting point. That's relatively easy things you're gonna have. If these kind of pre-screening you cannot pass, I doubt whether you really are capable of achieving any complicated function anymore. So today we will just stop here. Okay. So the things I'm gonna give to you now, you can see over there. That's the project step. I just make it simplify. See the raw. So I want you to do that is first register an account in the GitHub, and then how can you connect your PyCharm and download? This is the project link I offer to you. So there are plenty of the teaching material online, how you can achieve that kind of goal. That's also some training on your selecting the keywords, how you're going to interaction with the search engine. Okay, and I would like you to give it a try first. Okay, and then we will start from the next class. We will start it from here. If I don't really know, first thing I will see, what does GitHub do? That's the things you can just try to search, right? And then there's plenty of the material. And something gonna be right, something gonna be wrong, something gonna be irrelevant. But if you check enough on the link, you will figure that out. Okay? And don't expect you now can fit these things completely correct, like in the lecture-based learning. I do the screening already for you. Now you're gonna do the screening, and then this is gonna take tremendous amount of work. Even you spend 3 hours having to figure that out, don't get depressed. You are not alone. Okay, that's very common for beginners. So, and as long as you keep going on, as long as you don't give up, over the time, over 1 month, over 3 months, over the year, you will see a significant progress. There's no peer that's comparable to you through the lecture-based learning. That's far left behind. They are not in the same track competing at all. Okay, so that's the type of things you're gonna do. And for the project task, I will also start. I will do the demo for you, like say once you have the connection, and I will do the demo for you. Say, how I'm gonna search this material, do it online, look at the material, and how to write my code directly. And then another thing is I have all these recordings for the class, right? So for those of the things for this project, if you don't have time, I also will post it on my YouTube channel. Okay, so you probably can have a subscription of that, and I will just post the video over there. And anytime you have free time or anything you forget, still can follow and get the information out of it. Okay, I will not using school platform anymore because they keep changing and my material is gone, and I need to have the records of my own. Okay, so yeah, that's just for today, and so that's the things you're probably gonna start with, and then if you have any other question before like 2:30, I still can answer your question. Otherwise, you're on your own. Okay, I can only make the lead. But the most important thing is actually for each of you. I cannot do anything further help, just like the doctor telling you that's the things you do, like don't take too much sugar, quit smoking. But if you continue to do that, we cannot say they cannot cure your disease. Okay. Okay, so that'll be, and I just stop here.